her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you. From national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's good to be back. There's just something about Mr. Berman that keeps you going. And I feel like, just bringing back that Friday vibe, right, Marshall? And Connie Bonnie? Yeah, it's just something about Mr. Berman. There's just something about a live local band, live music. It just keeps you going, whether or not you knee hurting or it's just something about music. Good evening to my friends and family near and far. It's good to be back with you as we kick off, a new week. And welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise. Stories unfold and inspiration definitely is taking center stage. I am your host, Sabrina, and it is so good. Yes, it does, Marshall. It is so good to be back with you this evening. And I can move now, because I'm sitting down. Even though I saw Sandra, but she's doing her show for standing up about women after 50 and this challenge and accountability. Hoot, hoot for you. I get my workout on a dance floor somewhere. Even if it's while I'm cooking. I see you there, Connie Bonnie. I'll share that in a second. Even if I'm cooking, there's just something with me when it comes to music. And I just enjoy it. And I make no apologies for just loving it, to be honest. I really just love dancing. And oh yeah, do you not pay for it? I pay for it. Yes, afterwards. You know, when you go to the gym and you get a good workout and you pay for it afterwards? Yeah, but yeah. Carnival is coming. You know how we go. You know how we do it back in the day, Marshall. Memories. But yes, it's good to be back with you for another informative, engaging, thought-provoking conversation. And let me tell you something. I had to do that prompt yesterday to let you know that something big was coming today. And yeah, I know how y'all thinking. Maybe when you saw the flyer, you're like, that was she talking about? Yeah, right. But something is big coming. And as we always do here on this platform, sharing of knowledge, inspiration as we learn, grow, and just thrive here in this platform as we continue to impart knowledge and definitely give you food for thought. But tonight, we're unlocking a door that many women have walked through in silence for generations. And what I'm talking about is the door of premenopause. Now, hold on. Men, don't run. Because this is not just for the women. No, not at all. Not at all. Because this whole topic is worth dedicating a show to. And not in whispers, not in shame, but in real language that women feel, men need to understand, and couples must navigate together, okay? Because I do have a segment for the men too. I didn't just do this all for us women. I'll start with the truth. When our own body begins to change, Yeah. Let me go personal, because the other day when I was sweating and I thought about the AC, yeah, I had one right here. Yeah. When my body starts to change, I didn't have words. To be honest with you, I felt confused, embarrassed, and even afraid of being seen differently. And I know many of women feel the same way. But most women experience these symptoms, yet more than half ever talk about them. Many don't even recognize what's happening until it disrupts their lives. Because guess what? No one taught us what to expect. It was taboo. So tonight, we're going to break that silence once and for all. And we're going to talk about what premenopause is, what women feel but can't always explain. And when men misunderstand but want to support, how couples stay connected and how a community like ours can remove that taboo. No woman should feel alone. No man should feel shut out. And no couple should feel, no relationship should really fall apart because of the lack of information. So I'm hoping tonight, by way of this platform, that we can open the windows, let the fresh air in, and just let's say that it's okay to talk. It's okay to ask those pressing questions. It's okay to learn together. So I encourage you to settle in and, because this is going to be a very informative discussion and a conversation that we will have together right here on Sabrina Speaks. Yes, we're going to do it this evening. But please do remember that the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal or medical or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Now, Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability with any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. It's good to be back with you. As I said earlier this evening, setting the tone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you to all of my new followers and subscribers. I see you. I appreciate you. Don't forget to tell a friend so you don't miss an episode as well. Continue to share the link. Continue to participate. 345-936-8255. You can WhatsApp me on that. And you can also join into this live discussion as well. And all genders are welcome here this evening. Before we go into the crooks and crannies that is just not one-sided this evening, this is even going to be centered around families as well. Let's take a look at our weather. Aren't you just enjoying the breeze? Oh my gosh. Well, compliments of our friends over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Here is this evening's weather forecast and a look into tomorrow. The synopsis calls for fresh to locally strong northeasterly winds, and rough seas are expected to prevail through the next few days as a ridge of high pressure extends across the southwest United States. Mostly fair and dry conditions are likely to persist through the same time period, with a slight chance of early morning showers that's advancing from Cuba. Now, the small craft advisory will be upgraded to an alert Tuesday morning as a continued deterioration in marine conditions are expected. Now, radar imagery shows no showers at this time. The forecast for tonight is calling for mostly clear skies with a 20% chance of early morning showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s and winds will be northeasterly 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, and a small craft advisory is in effect. Now, small craft should exercise caution over open waters, especially along the north and east coast. Within the reef and sheltered areas, conditions may be generally less severe than open waters, but operators should continue to exercise discretion as localized choppy conditions may still develop. Now for tomorrow, the forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s with a heat index of near 90 degrees. Winds will be northeasterly 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet. And again, a small craft alert will be in effect. There will be a high tide this evening at 7:21. A low tide is for 1:26 a.m. and another high tide at 7:13 in the morning. Sun will set this evening at 6:41 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:09. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday. Bring it on. Welcome. I love those breeze. I don't know who else does, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm really hoping it can stay like that for the rest of the year. Because in our news today, the forecast and the NEAMS are up for our Atlantic hurricane season that is quickly approaching. Now let's see what's making the news here this evening on the Sabrina Speaks. Let's see what made the cut. Turning our attention now to local, regional, and international news. Let's start with local. Yes. Deputy Premier and Minister for Tourism and Trade Development, Honorable Gary Ruddy, is leading a Cayman Islands delegation to the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami that is taking place on today, April the 13th to the 16th. Now, he is joined by Minister Joannie J. Ebanks and senior officials from both ministries and Cayman Tourism. The conference is one of the cruise industry's major international gatherings, bringing together global stakeholders. Cayman's delegation will take part in strategic meetings and media engagement aimed at strengthening relationships and advancing opportunities within the cruise sector. In other local news, CUC says fuel cost for April remains stable compared to March, and customers will see this reflected on bills issued in May. While Cayman does not source fuel directly from the Middle East, global crude markets can still influence the price of refined diesel. With electricity use expected to rise in the warmer months, CUC is encouraging customers to monitor their consumption using tools like the mid-month report, My CUC, and daily energy alerts. Now, the company will continue issuing monthly fuel cost updates on its website and social media platforms. And we will do our best as well here on the Sabrina Speaks, whatever information we get as it pertains to this and other news, even tips and tricks as well. I'd be more than happy to share it with us as we continue, because we know what happens in the summer months, right? Yes, we do. So we will definitely keep you abreast of all that's happening there and around the world as we keep it locked on all that's happening with our fuel consumption, hoping that you don't have to cringe when you're actually opening those bills. As we continue on with news headlines, we see where the National Hurricane Center has released the official list of names for the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Now, this year's lineup begins with Arthur, Bertha, and Cristobal, and continues through Wilfred. Now, while these names may sound familiar, each one represents a potential storm that could impact communities across the Caribbean and the Gulf. Now, definitely, we here as Sabrina Speaks team will encourage everyone to view. Make sure you go ahead and be prepared early, and make sure you review your emergency plans and stay informed as well for the siesta season approach, because we know preparedness definitely saves lives. Oh, yes, it does. And I'm so proud to share this local news here along with the Honorable Premier, because the local business community marked a major milestone. And who we're talking about? TCE Paint Shop. They're located on Easter Avenue. Now, this event was held on April the 11th and draw a strong crowd and included the attendance by the Honorable Premier, underscoring government support for small business growth. Now, guests enjoyed live painting demonstration giveaways as well, and a first look at the expanded showroom. Now, TCE Paint Shop is now the island's authorized Sherwin-Williams dealer, offering professional grade products for homeowners and contractors alike. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you, and I'll see you soon. Oh yeah, got a little project I want to do. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Yes, let's keeping it local. John Gray High School has launched a photography competition open to all students. With entries due by April 24th, each student may submit one original photo reflecting the theme. What represents Cayman to you? Images can be sent to Mistress Watkins by email, Teams, or in print and must include the student's name and tutor group. Now, filters are allowed, but AI generated images are strictly prohibited. By entering, students grant permission for their photos to be used across school media platforms. Turning our attention right now to regional news here this evening on the Sabrina Speaks platform, Cuba has expanded its electricity supply with the arrival of a Turkish floating power plant, the Belgian Sultan, which docked in Havana on April 10th. The unit is expected to provide additional generation capacity as the island continues to face ongoing power shortages. Now, its arrival follows a recent fuel shipment from Russia, reflecting Cuba's continued efforts to secure international energy support and domestic grid challenges. In other news making the Caribbean today, we have where Costa Rica has received its first group of migrants deported from the United States under the new third country agreement signed in March. Authorities confirm that 25 migrants from 8 nations arrived in San Jose on April the 11th, where they were processed and given initial support by the International Organization for Migration. Now, under the deal, Costa Rica will accept up to 25 deportees per week, with the U.S. providing financial assistance for the program. In other news for the region, we turn our headlines into Jamaica. Jamaica is being highlighted across CARICOM for its wrong image. My apologies to avoid confusing you. Jamaica is being highlighted across CARICOM for its progress in strengthening the national health sector. Now, regional partners note improvements in service delivery, infrastructure, and public health planning. At the same time, local headlines continues to focus on community protests over ongoing water shortages, along with several crime-related incidents that have grown public concerns. Now, authorities say efforts are underway to address both issues as part of a wider nation development priorities. And turning our attention to CARICOM, yes, senior CARICOM official is warning that the ongoing conflict in the Middle East poses a growing threat to the Caribbean's food and economic security. Wendell Samuel, Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM, says that the region must strengthen coordination to improve resilience and bargaining powers as global supply chains face renewed pressures. Now, he notes that tighter regional cooperation will be essential for managing external shocks and definitely protecting vulnerable economies. Turning our attention over to the UK now, Downing Street says that the United Kingdom will not take part in the United States-led naval blockade of Iran ports. Instead, the government is working with France and other partners on a broader coalition focused on protecting freedom of navigation in the region. Official says that the UK may deploy mine hunting systems as part of its contribution, emphasizing a diplomatic and security focused approach rather than direct blockade participation. In other news out of the UK, we see where the Duchess of Edinburgh has officially opened a new Queen Elizabeth II's Memorial Veteran Centre at the Royal Hospital, Chelsea. Now, the facility is designed to give veterans a dedicated space to socialize, stay active, and build supportive friendships. Now, during her visit, the Duchess toured the center and met with Chelsea's pensioners, taking part in the Veterans Outreach Program, which helps former service members stay connected to the wider community. And last but not least this evening, and my apologies, I don't have the image, An Australian teenager, yes, we're talking about a teenager, gout, is surging across global sports headlines after breaking the world under 20 record in the 200 meters and placing himself in direct comparison with Jamaica's sprinting prodigy Usain Bolt. Now, Galt's blistering time not only shattered the junior record, but also pushed him into a performance range normally dominated by senior elite athletes. Now, the result has ignited worldwide debate about the new generational rivalry, with fans and analysts weighing Gout's rise against Bolt's legendary early career dominance. Now, that concludes this evening's news, regional and international, right here on Sabrina Speaks. My apologies. The financial update, I just didn't get it this evening for you, but it's so good to have you here with us. Let me say happy birthday shout outs to everybody who's been celebrating a birthday over the weekend, or today may be your day. Happy birthday from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family here. And for all of those who are celebrating anniversaries as well, happy anniversary. Guess what? Mine's coming up too on the 18th. Yeah. And I got beg for a ting. Not a ting, not a ting, not a ting. It's not a begging thing. Oh my gosh, no. But yeah. But for all of those persons who are celebrating, I want to send you all of our love from all the family here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. And definitely for all of those who are mourning the loss of a loved one, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with you. There's just so much. I saw on social media the gentleman from A.L. Thompson. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was so helpful. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a lot. But yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with all of you. And I know that they laid Mr. Alwyn to rest this weekend. Again, this is where the healing really starts. You know, it's closed that chapter, but now life goes on, and we know this is when really there's no blueprint for mourning. So you just got to give people, you know, their space, but still be there for them. But lots of love going out to all of those who are mourning the loss of a loved one. Yeah, good afternoon. Marshall's in the house. Connie Bonnie, first and second to respond. Gonna send you the flower of the day. You got to tell us what this is, Connie Bonnie. I saw it. Thank you so much. The flower of the day. Leave it to you, boy. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful, Connie. This is beautiful for all of my plant lovers and my green thumb people. Good evening. See, this is Connie. Doctor Who? What is that? What does it say on it? Something surprise. What's okay? I can't make that out, but thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful, Connie. And I got, remember my peace lily that I had to, that I shared with you guys? It has now started to open. And yeah, I'll share that tomorrow. I'll post it afterwards. But I'm so proud of myself. Oh my God, I'm so proud it didn't die. But Connie, you're a lover for orchids. OMG, good for you. Thank you for sharing the flower of the day. That'll be cool. Yeah, that's so cool. Let's see what you said here. That's what is, how do you pronounce that? I'm horrible at these things, but for all of you plant lovers, thank you so much. That's Marshall. Marshall is in the house from North Carolina, sending all of that. And please don't hesitate to comment from where you're streaming us live from. And of course, you can, whatever platform you're streaming on, you can post your comments below. We do our best to make sure everybody, because you are making this platform, and join in the conversation. And we love to hear from you. Yes, we want to hear from everybody, as long as you remain respectful, and let's do our best with keeping it on topic. Open mic is definitely on Friday, but of course, this is your space. But we try to just get the right things out there. Yeah. Damian Henry's in the house. Thank you so much. Happy Monday, all. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Oh, thank you for that. Damien is so loyal. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Andrew, how was your weekend? A blessed Monday to see you, Sabrina and K-Man. Likewise, my love, all of you. Miss Valerie Lindo is in the house as well. Good evening to all. I'm enjoying the wind, but lots of my mangoes are blown. Oh my gosh, yes. And they are not fit. I feel that to my core. See, if they were fit, all you would have to do is call Sandra. What? A woman like a green mango. OMG. I'm sorry about that, Miss Valerie. And from the forecast, the gusts are going to be more tomorrow as well. Oof. Oh my. Alfred Real, kudos. Love that topic on Friday night. Good for you guys. Continue to shine. Rosie Rose is in the house too. Yes. It's so good to have you here. And like I said, I would even try to slaughter this, Connie. Oh, hell no. Oh my gosh. Yes. We're streaming live from the beautiful Cayman Islands. We're a British overseas territory jurisdiction, and it's good to be here with you. Good to have you join us. Good evening to you as well, Anthony Green, 186. Yes, please, 345-936-8255 is the number to call to be a part of this discussion this evening. And what it's about, in case you missed the flyer, to every woman, to every man, to every couple, to every family tuning in tonight, good evening. It is so good to have you here with us. And I want to open the door this evening that has been locked, as I said at the beginning, for a very long time. And what I'm talking about, you could almost say for generations, a door that many women walk through silently, privately, painfully, because what I'm finding is that many of us don't even have the words, or we don't even have the language, and we don't have the support is what we're feeling. And what I'm talking about again is premenopause. Not in a medical jargon, not in a shame way, not whispering it either this evening, because we're going to open the doors, we're going to open the window, but in real language from a woman's perspective. And I want to weigh in. We got a lot of you guys on here as well, a man's perspective as well. And then we're going to look at it even from a community perspective. And I want to start with honesty, my own honesty, because I'm new here. I'm new in this space, 51. But to be honest with you, when my body first started changing, I didn't know what the heck was going on. Even though I have a nursing background, it didn't hit me until after the fact. I honestly didn't have the vocabulary. I didn't know what to process it. And then you're trying to figure out, why are you feeling this way? Are you depressed? Are you like, what the heck is going on, Sabrina? I didn't have the confidence either to say something is happening. Who do you say it to? But you don't even know what to explain. You don't even know how to say it. And you just don't understand. I could be honest with you. When it kind of, the little light bulb kind of flickered and said, that premenopause, I felt embarrassed. I've said it openly. There's a difference of 12 years in my relationship. Yeah, ain't no shame in my game. But for a moment, I was like, oh my God, I getting old. How he gonna look at me? I wonder what's gonna change. I was confused. To be honest with you, I was afraid that I would be looked at differently. I was afraid that I would be rejected. Afraid that I was somehow less. And what I'm now finding out, because I'm digging, I'm not alone. We just quiet. And you know me, I went digging. And the more I dropped the word, which I kind of broke it here one episode back in the earlier days, and that show blew up. We never got back to it. And more now, I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, and people are confused, but it's like we're still a little embarrassed about it. And we do not realize how much it could be impacting our relationships. And I want to break that stigma here today, because it is not just women that go through this, you know. Oh, no, you don't. Because men, there's something that you guys go through too that is called andropause, which is the slow, steady drop in testosterone that really begins in your late 30s and 40s. So we're not being lopsided here this evening. We're going to be inclusive. I am going to include you. I'm going to share stats with my men as well, because it could be something that we're not picking up in our male partners as well. And they could be missing something that we are giving off. And then it just caused one confusion. But according to the North American Menopause Society, over 90% of women experiencing symptoms of menopause. Yeah, we're actually experiencing that. Yet more than half never talk about it. We don't talk about it with our partner. We don't talk about it with our doctor. And God forbid, if we come together with friends and you don't hear them talking about certain things, then you kind of become a clam. You just clam up. And the World Health Organization also reports that most women don't even recognize premenopause until symptoms become so disruptive, because we were never taught really and truly openly what to expect. And what we're seeing is that the CDC notes that premenopause can last anywhere from 4 to 10 years. Yet many women spend most of these years feeling lost and ashamed and definitely misunderstood. So I'm hoping this evening, with some stats that I have found, opening the windows, opening the doors, that we can break that silence. Because at the end of the day, if we're inclusive, share the information that I have found as well, even with the men. Premenopause is not a failure. Andropause is not a failure. It's not a punishment. It's not the end of our beauty or worth or femininity or masculinity or the end of our relationship. What I want to start to set the tone is the harsh reality that these changes that our bodies are going through is a natural phase. And in all honesty, we deserve to talk about it, and talk about it without fear, without embarrassment, and without shame. And tonight, I'm opening every one of those doors. And we're going to talk about what menopause actually is, what andropause is. And I can do an entire B of this tomorrow to more put a spotlight on our male counterparts, but they're going to be inclusive in this segment as well. But since we hear so much about the women, we're going to start with us women. And we're going to talk about what women feel but often don't even explain or can't explain. And what men misunderstand but want to support, or some of them in their way of supporting, they go MIA. And then it causes an argument and you're like, where the hell did that argument come out from? Where did that start from? But yet you got all this brain fog and you're fatigued, you're tired, and you're trying to understand. It's like a war zone inside your head. And tonight, I also want to talk about how couples can stay connected. And by extension, how communities, especially small ones, close-knit ones like ours, can stop treating this as taboo. And I'm hoping that we can replace this silence with understanding, compassion, and definitely build a bridge where we have partnership. Because at the end of the day, no woman or man should suffer alone. No man should feel confused or shut out either. And no couple, no relationships should fall apart for lack of information. And when we're talking about the community aspect of it, no community should be allowed to silence that is created because one may feel ashamed. Yes. What I'm saying is that it's okay to talk. And it's okay to ask questions. It's even okay to cry, laugh, learn, and support each other. There's no shame here. Absolutely no shame here this evening, only understanding. So I welcome you. Post your comments if you have any questions or you want to remain anonymous. 345-936-8255. You can send me a WhatsApp. I will not share it here on this platform, but I'll definitely read it if you want to contribute to the topic. So I'm encouraging you to settle in, get comfortable, be prepared to call in. But I would also love to hear a male's perspective on this as well. If you're bold enough to call in or you want to post your comments, please, 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 please. Let's be a part of this conversation here, because I feel this is going to be one of the most important conversations that we've ever had here on Sabrina Speaks, because we're just not keeping it one-sided, one gender. We're actually going to try our best in the time given to cover all sectors of it, right? So let's just talk, because I'm going to go into andropause a little bit as well. But I want to start off with the premenopause. What is it really, right? I want to just get to the heart of it and just talk about, before we talk about the emotions, the relationships, the misunderstandings and all that sort of stuff, we need to start with the basics. That's how I feel. Because the truth is, most of us never was taught this. You heard about the birds and the bees and all of these things, and the older generation would pretty much go in whenever they were seeing their monthlies, it would be this big top secret. I don't know why, but okay, we're not blaming them. That was then. We don't hear about it enough in schools, and I stand to be corrected if they're now more open. And we definitely don't hear about it at home, not in churches, and even some of our friends group, because some of us feel embarrassed. But what premenopause really is, it is the transition phase before menopause. And it's the body's way of saying, we're slowing, we're winding down its reproductive system for a female. Not shutting down overnight, though. Not flipping a switch, but it's a transitionary phase, sometimes gently and sometimes chaotic. The first night sweat I had, I swear it was something bad I had eaten. And that hit me after 2 one morning. I didn't know what the heck it was. I was embarrassed. My night clothes were wet. The sweat was drenching off my elbows. And as so it came, she disappeared, and it was as though you had opened up one of those Foster's big freezers. And then that Wi-Fi chipped in what that was. Oh, I tried my best to mask that because I didn't want to have that conversation right there and then. And again, what we're found with data is that North American Menopause Society, it really begins to hit women in their 40s, but it can start as early as 35 years old. And the CDC reports that this phase can, again, as I said at the beginning, last 4 to 10 years. Now, one would say, Sabrina, why would you have been so embarrassed? Again, I'm 51, born in 1974. How was I raised? I wasn't going to have that conversation with my partner at 2 o'clock in the morning. I just had a hot flash. I bet you that the sun couldn't rise fast enough when I messaged my doctor. Girl, I think I had my first hot flash. Yeah. Let me say this again. 4 to 10 years. That's a long time to feel confused. And if you don't know what's happening, it makes it even worse. And you may wonder, well, why does it happen, period? In simple terms, because our hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, starts to go wonky. It starts to go all over the place. You may have a change in the way you smell. You may have a change in even your secretions in those parts. Yeah. It's not a decline in a straight line that you can check the box. Each person is differently. And not a gently drift downward, but just a jump up, so to speak. A crash down, a spike dip, a rise, a fall. Sometimes it's all over. You can have all of these things happening in the same week. Sometimes some people have it in the same day. So imagine your body's thermostat or your mood center or your sleep center or your energy system all trying to recalibrate at once. That's premenopause. And it's trying to do all of that at one same time. And some of the symptoms, very known, let's talk about some of what us females actually experience, is that the most infamous one is the hot flashes. And this is pretty much a female's internal thermostat glitching, it flickering. Your body suddenly think it's overheating. And even when the room is cool, yes, you feel the heat rising from your chest, your face, sometimes sweating. And if you're wearing glasses, oh my God, you need to invent those windshield wipers for your glasses because then they fog up. And then it's just like it's a heat that you really cannot explain. And what we found is that the Mayo Clinic reports that 75% of the women experience hot flashes during this particular time. Now, in addition to that, the good old mood swings. Oh, yeah. This isn't being emotional at all. And many a times you will hear our male counterpart saying, oh, she's just having a bad day. Ignore her. Yeah. Again, this is where your hormones rising and crashing like a metaphor of waves. And you can feel fine in the morning and overwhelmed by the afternoon. And for those who see their monthlies, irregular periods, menstruation, your cycle becomes unpredictable. So you get irregular periods. And they could either be early, late, heavy, light, or even skipped. Again, this is your body winding down its reproductive cycle. It's nothing to be ashamed of. This is a natural way of your body just, that's what happens. I see where Sandra did a poll asking about people's night rests, whether or not they're getting enough sleep. And one of the things that I found in preparing for this topic is that people going through this premenopause also complains about sleep problems. And that is directly related to hormones as well, because the hormones affect the brain's sleep center. And you may wake up 2 a.m. in the morning for absolutely no reason, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And you struggle to fall asleep until about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And that when that sleep won't hit you, when the alarm goes off, you need to get up to make breakfast or to get the kids off for school. Yeah. Knock, knock. Premenopause. You also see weight changes as well. Yeah. Thank you, Connie, for saying that. It sometimes will make you feel like you're losing your mind. Exactly. And the weight. We struggle all the time to maintain our weight, right? Your metabolism actually goes berserk, because what happens with that is that it slows down. So just put it into perspective. You're at this age, your metabolism slows down, and let's say you are one of those with hypothyroid. That's double weight gain. Exactly. And your body then, with these weight changes, just premenopause, no other indicating factors, your body then redistributes the fat, especially around the midsection. If it would go where we would want it. But this is biological and it's not laziness. Some of you will work out and you will beat the pavement till thy kingdom come, only then it comes on. And then you get to that other part. Yes. Low libido. Some of you, when your partner touches you, it's cringing and you're trying to figure out, what? Oh, not tonight. Not tonight. No. Don't even do it. Yeah. It's all a part of premenopause. And this hormonal imbalance, not a lack of attraction. It's not a lack that there's no love or desire for your partner. It's all a part of the cycle. Some may actually feel, yeah, you got somebody else now. I'm not attracted anymore. What's wrong with you? Yeah, we're having the real conversations this evening. Then you get those moments where there's anxiety and sadness, either or sometimes both. This too, my friends, is chemical. This is hormonal. This, my friend, is real. And you something else. I can see you and hear you right now. But this combination of the anxiety and sadness, according to the National Institute of Health, right? Women in premenopause are twice as likely to experience mood changes during these hormonal shifts. And why women don't even recognize it? Is because they don't listen to their body and they're blaming everything in their environment. A boss ticked you off, a staff is not doing, you're like, well, I 50 now, boy, now switch clicked on. I not tolerating no BS anymore. I got a very shallow threshold for BS. Hello. It's all a part of the body changing. It's automatic. And this is why we need to talk about it, because you could be spilling this to your partner in the workplace. And with these Gen Z now, and they have no clue what's going on, you could be reported to your boss for being a bad leader and you don't even realize what you're going through. And this goes for both genders. Which, since we're identifying the gender part, allow me to sneak in their bit for the men. Because us women need to understand that we need to be like Dora the Explorer when we're trying to figure out what's going on in our male partner's head when they're going through this. Because let me tell you something about this. We talk about ourselves as women and what we go through and what we should do. But how many of us really put the spotlight on our male counterparts? Because at the end of the day, men go through these changes as well. And we don't talk about it nearly enough. And I'm talking real changes. I'm talking hormonal changes, emotional changes, identity changes. Yeah, they go through it. They go through that phase too. But unlike women, men often go through their transition in complete silence. And this is going to break the ice when it comes to the men, because I could do more digging. I could bring it from a female's perspective very easy because I'm a woman. But I got to do a little bit more digging when it comes to the men. So I will promise you to dedicate a show from the men's perspective so us women can actually kind of pick up some of the things that they're going through. And one of the things that came out to me most about the men is that this andropause that the men go through, we know that it is a decrease and a slow drop in their testosterone that can begin in their late 30s and 40s. And it isn't sudden like ours. It's not sudden like menopause, but it affects everything: their mood, their energy, their confidence, their ability to focus, their sleep pattern, their intimacy, and even their motivation. I'm talking about men now, andropause. And because it happens gradually, men themselves don't recognize it. They think it's stress. Aging could be the last thing on their mind, because a lot of them are like, who? Not me. Marshall, I didn't call your name. And they think it's their fault, right? And instead of talking about it, what we see with our men, because of how society places them, they carry it alone. And emotionally, I don't know who Andrew is, but I can say electric. Men feel things deeply. And I got to be honest with you, sometimes we don't give them enough slack. Slack in the sense where they're allowed to cry and not seen less of being a man. They express themselves so differently from us women. And some become so quiet or quieter. Some become more irritable. Some men may even pull away or feel inadequate themselves. Are you seeing any similarities here to what we as women go through? And some may feel like they're losing their edge, their strength, their suave, that whole masculine thing when they were in their 20s and Mr. Hotshot. If it were later in the night, I would tell you what happens if they wake up and you know what? Then they stress out. Read between the lines. And then they get worried. Get back on track, because I know where your minds went. But that's exactly where I was going. But because when you look at men now, it's not because they don't care, Not because they don't love their families either, or because they don't have the ability or the language in order to do it right. To speak is what I'm talking about. They don't feel that they have permission, just like how I felt weird. And I would have felt better speaking with my doctor than my partner when he better understand what's going on around him, because it's a total different Sabrina. And who would be the best person? Who's in your space, right? They should be the ones that it's a no-brainer, but automatically being raised by an old school, and I was raised by my grandmother. So there were just certain conversations. If I wasn't a nurse, a lot, I can tell you, I learned for myself. Nobeline, she did a marvelous job. But again, culture, generation, based on what you were exposed to. And I make no apologies for that. I'm happy for the way I was raised. Little too sheltered sometimes, but I still give God thanks. Turned out well. But at the end of the day, when it comes back to men, it affects relationships, just like in females. The silence affects relationships. It affects communications. It affects intimacy, mental health, and also the entire household by extension. Men, my friends, hurt too. They just hurt differently. And many a times they do not explain it, because they are known as the macho of the house. They look as weak if they looked at as weak if they even shed a tear, unless there is a loss of a loved one. Okay. Hey, Anne, how you doing? Michelle Campbell says, anxiety, mood swings, agitation, tinting out of here, so unbearable. Yep, I know where you're going with that. Connie says, my husband did not understand it at first, but now he gets it. I would send him stuff to read. Good for you. Congratulations. Oh, my little old man here who's in denial, who says, my dear friend Marshall, I'm just 21. Way too young to be through going through any changes at this point. Maybe when I reach y'all age, you probably going through that in silence, and that's why you were first to class because you saw the flyer. Your secret is now out. Ha ha. Andrew says, I believe that this affects 90% older couples in their late 40s, 50s, 60s, and leads to critical point of their relationship. Andrew, you hitting the nail on the head. Whilst I can't speak about menopause in women, I can only imagine how taboo it was. Taboo this was 50 years ago. Oh my God, yeah. Some of them, they probably didn't even know exactly what was going on. Ms. Dorothy said, some talk about stuff in the bars and barbershops. Oh, well, that's good to know. At least they're talking about it at some point. So thank you for sharing that. But what we see is that our men really hurt differently. And I want to just let you all know that our men deserve the same care and attention. They deserve understanding, compassion, and they deserve a safe space as well to talk about their emotions and their physical changes. And sometimes that place is at home. So I'm hoping that by me bringing up this topic, even though we're on this episode, we're focusing more on the premenopause, I wanted to let you know to just bridge the gap that men go through the similar things as females so that you can see the correlation and how we are all going through something at some point in time based on our age. And it is just how the body is. I feel that at the end of the day, men deserves to be human as well, not superhuman. And society has put this thing on all of our men that it's almost as though this macho thing and that they can't hurt. They deserve just as much support as our women. And families are stronger when men are supported. Relationships are healthier. And by extension, we definitely see where we have to afford them the space and the room so that they can feel it's okay to have the conversation and that we all understand it. Yeah. So I'm hoping that at the end of the day, that we can bridge the gap and we see the similarities that men go through a form of menopause as well, their own version, just like us women, but you're hearing more about the women. Is it because we lash out and they're misunderstanding us, or that we are more vocal anyhow, just how we're wired, why we're getting appear to be the more attention, or because men are known as the strong arm, that even though they hurt, we don't hear enough about it. But yet, at the end of the day, everybody is impacted by this. Another tidbit here that I'm going to share with you this evening is that I got this information from the World Health Organization, going back to our females now. WHO says that most women don't even realize, as I said at the beginning, that they are going through this, just like our men. They blame it on everything. They blame it on everything because the symptoms of premenopause mimics stress, aging, busy schedule, parenting, work pressure, and just overall life languages and changes. So women would think they're just tired. It's everything that's happening, that they're overwhelmed, and maybe they're moody because just life is just stressful. And because we don't talk about it, women blame ourselves instead of understanding it's biology. Yeah, it's biology. Yeah, you always in class early. Yeah, you were first in class today because you know what a topic was. We love you first. I'm just pulling at you because I know you can handle it. You can handle it, Marshall. Connie says, Auntie, I sent my husband to go speak with our family doctor. Good for you, Connie Bonnie. Good for you. Did he go? Did he go? My husband sleeps with the AC at 7 to 2 every night. Some nights I just crash out in the sofa. My body can't tolerate it sometimes. Oh, so he's going through that. Good for you. But you see, both of you have had the conversation, and this is why I like the fact that you guys are doing this together. There's so many families that are probably being impacted by this and are not being as participatory in each other's life and having the real conversations, that it's actually pulling them apart more than what should be bringing them closer together. So what I'm going to do here, because I love to hear from all of you and I love your participation, right? If you can identify when you first, as a female or male, doesn't matter, when you first realized something was changing, and did you feel comfortable about talking about it? I mean, you can send me a message. How did you feel? What was your state of mind when you realized something was going on, or maybe speaking or overhearing some conversations? I would love to hear from you as well in regards to that. Yeah. I really want to hear about it, but I want to take it now, and you can send in your comments below, and then we can always come back to them. But I want this to be participatory. I want to hear from you. I'm just not going to be throwing information at you. I will be sharing some of my personal stories, as I've already started, because it's easy for me to share, but I can't do it from a male's perspective. And I would really love a man's side of it. If you're to actually do that, I would love to hear from you. But even from the female side of things, I want to just continue to go into this part of it. At the end of the day, when you look, let's take this call before I go to the other section. Good evening, caller. Welcome. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind? How's your day?
Good topic. Good topic.
Thank you.
I can tell you. I can tell you that. No, sir. And I agree with what Connor say, because I sleep with my AC between 7 to 2 and 7 to 5 every night. Because I don't have the sweats and thing no more, but I still feel the heat. And I'm 7 to 2 all week.
Right.
But my husband be complaining too about he cold and stuff. But I can tell you, and I imagine what you feel about them sweats, because boy, I used to have them. Jesus. You know, like, I could feel the thing going all down my leg. I standing, but you had put a hose on me. I mean, my clothes used to be so top clothes, bottom clothes. My face, boy, I hate that. That's the one I had hate. But then I agree, because I tell you, I had talked to Dr. Alexander, my gynecologist, about that, and she explained that is a terrible thing, and she explained all the different symptoms that it could have. He said, like they say about different stroke for different folks. Some people even go for their head with that. And she was telling me something I used to get. Sometimes I would get like in moods. I didn't want to be wrong nobody. I didn't want to hear no noise. Nothing. Not even a bad church. And then other times, then I wanted company. I was different. And then, well, it wasn't that I didn't used to want my husband around me sometimes, you know, go and lay down and we just, but then I don't understand either, because I know somebody that was 88 years old, that friend of mine, husband, and they still used to want to pop and feel at 88.
Their libido is high. Theirs didn't take a dip.
But I didn't know what he went through, because he was a family member of mine. And when I went one time,
Good for him.
and I used to have to remind him he was 88, and we used to record him that he used to drink. He used to drink. And the person said to me, you see what I go through, yes? And he used to want to touch up and feel at 88.
Good for him.
88. And I can't say what he used to say, because that wouldn't be appropriate on this. But I can tell you about that girl. I used to laugh. I said, well, what kind of nature he had? Jesus, he was the best I ever hear about. And like I tell you, the sleep thing, well, I still don't sleep good. I don't know what to do me. I don't sleep good. I don't go, and then I get anxiety still. I don't have the sweats, but I still get hot. Like my head sometimes, my face gets hot. Sometimes I even think I got fever, and then it feel like it going to my head, and I have to get out and breathe. So I don't know what is going on with me with that. Like I say, I could soon be 72, but I don't know about that. It's terrible. It's terrible. It is something else.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
I said I'm going to menopause, but then I hear you saying the next thing. So
Andropause, yeah. I got a question. Who's Andro? But don't thinking back was electric. But yeah, I see a question coming up here on the platform, whether or not there's a pill that we can. There's a number. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I feel sorry, and some people has it real bad.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Some people really have it.
Correct.
It is something, but like it's a body changing and everything. I guess as you get older, everything go haywire.
Yeah, it's biology. It's biology. But thank you for that. And I'll continue to share the information as we continue to with the discussion. But thank you for sharing.
I don't get cold easy. I feel more heat.
Okay.
As we continue with the discussion.
All right. A little later. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ms. Shelma. Ms. Connie says, I was okay with it. I spoke to my friends first. Okay. And Dean was asking, so can we take a pill or do we have to write it out? There are a number of treatments, Dean, but the thing is you got to consult a professional with this. There is not one magic pill for it, as we're saying, and this goes for both genders, for male and females. There are hormone therapies and all that sort of stuff that you could do it. There are natural ways as well. But there are testosterone replacement therapies that people can do, lifestyle treatments as well. And you just have to consult your physician with it. But the key is, Dean, this is a natural process. It's biology. It is your body just going through it. You can have a low testosterone. That's when men go down. But you can hear Water Calder shared with us that there was a gentleman at 88 who was, he was keep going. But not all of us are made like that, you know? So, but yeah, you can always, I will always tell you to consult with your doctor, go and have the conversations. Should you be identifying some of the things that we have discussed here today? And I'm more than happy to do a deeper dive into having a show dedicated for what men can go through. Since this is so relevant, and I thank you for your participation and for your questions as well, but I'd be more than happy to go through that as well. Annie shares with us that I don't have any problems with menopause, but I'm catching hell with this old age. You probably just refined that, Annie. You just redefined that for you. But good for you if you've never had the sweats and all that good stuff or what we're describing here. There are some people that go through this that have never had a hot flash. And maybe there are other things that have changed that they're not even aware of. But if you're scaling through this phase of your life and you don't have any problems, be it a man or a woman, kudos to you. It, I applaud you for that. Some people are just born that they don't go through these things. But I got this whole thing. It's Plastic Fantastic says, in Scotland, we say old age doesn't come alone. Oh, no, it has plenty of little friends. Oh, yes. And that's why sometimes you hear them little friends talking to you as well when you get in your massage, which is why I try to make sure that those massage and those spa treatments not too long. Because, oh, yeah. But yes, thank you for sharing that. How you doing, Plastic Fantastic? It's been a minute. But yeah, there is, I see where I was from the Mayo Clinic. I got some information because I've been digging all down some loopholes for this, right? And what they actually published is that premenopause doesn't just affect the body, you know. It impacts the brain. And what we're finding is that the National Institute of Health explains that fluctuating estrogen levels impacts the brain's mood center. Hence, it's affecting sleep, the sleep center, memory center. Remember you talking about this brain fog? It happened to me today. I was doing something here in the studio, went downstairs. Could I remember what in the name of Jesus I went down for? I had to come back upstairs, start back at it. And that was when it came back to me. It happens. And I'm quite sure that happens to the best of us, right? But because I'm aware of what's happening,
Dean, you something else. I'm aware of what's happening. I picked up on it immediately. And it's when it affects your brain center and memory, the center, this is key for us to not say, oh my gosh, and mistake it for something else. And that's why women in ourselves may actually experience, as I said, the whole mood swings, trouble concentrating, or you're in a project or you're sending an email and you get where you stop and you can't remember even where it was coming from. Please don't beat yourself up. Just inhale, exhale, get up, stretch, get some water or something, forgetfulness. And again, this whole sleep disruption part. Ladies and gentlemen both, I need to stress that this is not weakness. This is not being emotional. This is not overreacting either. This is a neurological response to hormonal changes. And we are seeing now where it's going to impact both the men and the women. And when we come to the reality and the understanding of that, we stop taking things personally. And we can start then by supporting each other from a compassionate perspective. Yes. And at the end of the day, we see where research has also found that relationship counselors and menopause educators shows that the partners, when the females are going through it, our male partners are significantly affected by the premenopause, even though it's not their body going through the changes, but we know they're going through it too. So what a mess if both of you are going through that at the same time and neither of you are understanding what's going on. And hence, Andrew was possibly saying, how do we know this isn't impacting, having this conversation 50 years back, but how do we know, taking it up a notch a little bit, how do we know that this is not why we're having such high number of divorces and separation? Yeah. How do we know that? When both of you are going through the same thing at the same time, especially if you're similar in age. But when a female is going through it, especially, let's seeing it from the woman's perspective now and how it could be looked at from the man's side. What they have found in research is that men, when they do speak, they say that they're confused. They feel rejected, unsure even how to help. And I can understand why they would say this. They're afraid to say the wrong thing. You can understand why now, right? And a lot of the men said that they're worried about their actual relationship. But I can understand why the man would be like, boy, she not in a good mood. Let me go mango tree. She just called me. Oh no, but I'm not gonna make her know I gone mango tree. Sit down just for her to air out a little bit. And then that may be another trigger. My friends, this is important to see what we as females are spilling and how it's being transmitted or being processed by our male partners. But at the end of the day, this is human. And that is why communication is so important. And when men understand what premenopause is and what it's not, relationships can become stronger, not weaker. And then we see where then there's a possibility that support as well becomes much easier. And then, like Connie and her husband, they navigate this phase as a team and not opponents. Yes, we need to talk much more. Yes. Because when we understand what the premenopause is, we know exactly what it feels like. And for many women, it feels like losing control of their body when they thought they've known it all of their life, but then all of a sudden, what the heck? And then one day you wake up and you think, why am I so darn emotional? Why am I so tired? Why can't I sleep at night? Why am I snapping at everybody? Even the blooming dog, if the dog brushes across me, you're like, oh yeah. Why do I feel like a stranger in my own skin? And because we don't talk about it, you're going to hear me repeating a lot of this stuff this evening. We then often think something is wrong. Yeah, with us, and not realizing it's linked to hormones. Yes, because 60%, like I did, I'm one of those 60% of us women, feel ashamed during this because we just didn't understand. And then that shame grows into total silence. The fear of not being yourself is what then overtakes. So let's be honest. One of the hardest parts of fear is losing losing yourself. Is it your youth, feeling rejected? You may look in the mirror and say, is this still me? Or you're competing now with social media, making sure that you got the best filter on, or the profile pics, how much likes, how much follows you're going to get. Why do I feel so different? Yet inside, that's what you're questioning. And then you question about your emotions. You may say, well, why don't I feel sexy? You just want to go around the house in the house dress. Go around the house in the house dress. You don't put on the nice Victoria's Secrets negligee anymore. Why? Why don't you feel confident? These thoughts are real in a woman's head. They're common, and they're nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes you may feel you just want to go into Peter's cave and be all alone. And then there's that fear of rejection if you speak about it with your partner. You fear that your partner won't see you the same because you're competing with the Enas and the Hondas and the fits and the unfits and the 12s and the 16s, what you were when you were first in your prime. All of that crap goes through your head. Don't blame yourself. Remember, there's a hormonal imbalance. But that big fear is real, that our partners won't see us the same, that they'll be judged. We will be judged, that we'll be dismissed, or, she's just going through a phase. I can't pay her no mind. Let me go and look at some pretty spanglitos or spanglitas and then leave you home to deal with it. Yes. Or sometimes we feel, that we're overreacting. Well, here's another tidbit from the Mayo Clinic. They report that low libidos and mood change and fatigues are among the top symptoms that impacts relationships during this phase. It's not like you're turned off at your partner. You just don't have the desire. And literally, sometimes what is being reported, if they touch you, it's like, ugh, yuck, don't touch me. Ugh. And it's not like they're a turn off. You do that almost it's like an impulse. Yes. And it's not like there's anybody else. Not because the love is gone. Not because communication is missing alone. You got to realize it is a natural stage and phase that a female's body is going through. And us females, we often think that in our minds, I'm not going to burden my partner with that. I don't want to burden him. I don't want to sound like I'm crazy, or I don't want him to think that I'm not attracted to him. So you fake it. Oh my God. Or you may be thinking, I don't want him to see me as being old. And then they stay silent. And guess what happens? That silence, that cringe, that creates distance. And that's heading in the wrong direction. Yes. Yes. Connie says, yes, it does affect relationships. Lots of marriages end in divorce because they don't educate themselves. Thank you for sharing that. Andrew says, some men drink at the bars before going home due to fear of facing their wives. Whilst I'm not saying that's the case, I believe there is something wrong with the hormonal changes in both parties not communicating. Then the man find a younger woman and the marriage relationships break down completely. But look, yeah, thank you for sharing. Andrew, this is why I love you. You know, you participate. But if it is biological, Andrew, this still young chiquita, they're going through it as well. Both parties are going to go through it as well. And this is why I guess you would have some women not understanding and feel rejected, feel like the only reason why they have lost their male partner, maybe that is the case as you've described here. Lack of communication. And maybe they can deal with it under a few adult beverages better because the mood swings. The mood swings. The guilt. Women feel guilty for snapping. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, because sometimes you replay it. Why the hell did I responded like that? I was like one of them old snapper turtles. And you just turn around and you like growl at them and you're like, where the heck did that come from? Women feel guilty for crying. Guilty for being overwhelmed. Guilty for honestly just begging for some space. But again, if you don't speak to your partner, needing that space doesn't mean you need your space from them to go find another one to hook up. You really just need to connect with yourself. And I can tell you, women feel guilty for not having the words to explain honestly what's happening. Hormonal fluctuations during this whole premenopause can cause all of these things, but more intense and more unpredictable. And this is not a character flaw. Again, chemistry. Yes. That's what it is. And when the quicker we can understand this and understand that the whole estrogen, how it impacts the brain and the serotonin and the dopamine levels, that same high that you get when you go to the gym and you just feel like you can go and you can go and you can go and you can go. The chemicals that regulate mood, that's what that is. When this estrogen rises and then falls, unpredictable, a woman's emotions will shift just as rapid. And this is not being, again, dramatic. This is not being sensitive. This is biology. And when we understand this, it helps couples to understand, avoid conflict, and just hold you. Sometimes when we go off, all we want to be is held. That's all we're begging for. Not for you to slam the door and leave. Just hold you. The more you understand, the better it is for navigating. And some of you may say, that culture not gonna understand that. Teach them. Teach them. Some women go through a phase, you're in a loving relationship, but you're as lonely, you would swear to God you're the only one on the planet. You feel so alone during this phase, even when you're surrounded by people. And then you ask the question, why? Maybe because we may not feel understood. Going back to that understanding again, because the lack thereof of education, because we don't feel safe to talk about what we're going through, because we don't want to be judged, because we don't even want to be seen as less. Yes. And also, the WHO also reports that women in their and in different cultures where menopause, like here, was taboo, where you're afraid to have the conversation, certain churches, you don't even want to talk about it. Higher levels of emotional distress is very prevalent. And what we find from that, it's more hurt and damage than it is any good. Yes. Damien says, it is stressful, especially when the individual is confused about what is happening to them. And especially if you don't even know, Damien, you're quite right. Good evening, my love. You're so late. Yes, we're doing very well. We're talking about premenopause today and exactly what we're going through as a family and a community and how we can navigate it. We're looking at it from all sectors, Miss Melita, but thank you for joining us. Nevertheless, you can scroll back a little later. Celia, is this so diagnosed as chemical imbalance? Oh, also, no, premenopause, it is similar, but not labeled as chemical imbalance, because you can have chemical imbalance for other reasons, but not necessarily directly linked to premenopause. We're taking this from the perspective of premenopause in women. Yes, yes, yes. The best remedy is exercise. Take long walks. Thank you for sharing that, Connie Bonnie. Oh, no, not that menopause. Oh, yeah, we are there. Andrew says, the greatest thing in life is to know and educate ourselves to equip us how to deal with the situation. Knowledge is power. And this is why, Andrew, I felt it was very important for me to join it here, to have it on this public platform here today. Again, we are opening the door. We're opening a Pandora box. Yes, but for good reason. As we elevate, encourage, inspire, let people know that this space is not off limit, respectfully, for discussing all of these, because there is no reason why a relationship, why an individual, why a family should be going through any of this in silence. Not when we are so connected here and information is so readily available, but some people don't even know how to start. And when we have forums like this and we can discuss this so openly and still balanced and respectful, people may be more inclined then to, one, identify, two, open up a little bit more. And I'm hoping that by at least the end of this, they would be more inclined to speak to their partners and say, look, if you don't believe me, go listen to what Miss Sabrina had to say. Go listen to Sabrina Speaks in your own time, because she spoke about the men too. And I can assure you this, I will make it my business to go a little deeper into the men tomorrow. Oh boy, that sounded weird. But yeah, I will go into the discussion about the men changes a little bit more tomorrow. Yes. And for those of you who picked that up. So what I want you to do is to really just be open to communication. Don't be ashamed about what you're going through, because everyone listening tonight, let me say this very clearly. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not losing your mind, and you're not by any means failing. But what's most important is that you identify this evening that you are not alone. Your body is truly transitioning. Your hormones are shifting. Your emotions are responding. It is biological. It is chemical. And your identity is evolving. And you deserve understanding from yourself, from your partner, and as a community. Yes. This is not the end of any chapter. What this is, my friends, it is a transition. Yes. Premenopause is not the end of womanhood, sexuality, or vitality. It is merely a transition, not a decline. And many females will feel stronger, wiser, and more confident, and even more self-aware after they go through this phase. So this is not closing a chapter. This we're going to label as turning a page. That's what we're going to label this as. Yes. Miss Melita says, I've been so waiting for this part of my life, child, my way or no way. After all, I've done for everyone else. Thank you for sharing that. Tanya says, what do we do and feel at the time of menopause? Is feeling lost. A lost feeling. Am I enough? We look at our life where we failed and try to look at our future with somewhat of apprehension. We need much more assurance to have much more to give. Being successful in business or a job does help to give strength through it all. Oh, Tanya, thank you for sharing that. So good. And this is why I'm just so happy that we have this space here that we can actually just do this openly and be inclusive. And kudos to the men who are participating and commenting as well, because that's where we need to strengthen some more in including our men in this discussion and creating that space where it's okay for them to speak and we all speak at the same level because we have identified they go through their own phase of menopause as well. Damien says, I had an individual at work who was often dubbed to have weaponized her menopause because her senior management couldn't understand what she was going through. Oh, really? Okay. Now, we don't want to weaponize it now because the universe has a way of giving you a bite of your own medicine. Watching from Florida, I can't miss Sabrina Speaks. Oh, thank you very much, Miss Dorothy. Thank you for your loyalty as well. Much appreciated and much love from all of us here in the Cayman Islands. You are a loyal fan and listener. Thank you so much for your continued support. But yes, let's shift the lens now a little bit, right? Because we've seen it from the female's perspective this evening. But I want to shift the lens just a little bit because we've identified that this doesn't only affect women. It affects the people who we love, and it affects the men who want to support sometimes and don't even know how to. We've identified that this evening. And therefore, it affects our male partners who feel confused, left out, unsure, or maybe sometimes you may say, well, that's their ticket out. That's their ticket out. They want it out all along. When many a times they themselves don't even know how to communicate, how to deal with that monster that she's turned into in their own way. Not hatred, just trying to understand because they themselves don't understand, right? So I want to use this section to look at it from the male's perspective, right? And I want us to really see how it affects partners who feel confused, shut out, unsure of what to do. And I'm hoping I could kind of put it from their perspective, right? Of what men often experience, but barely even say because they're trying to figure out, OMG, what it is I'm going home to. Most men were never taught anything about premenopause. They probably didn't even know that they go through it themselves. They weren't taught about it in schools, not even at home or in a health class, right? You forget about church. No, not in conversations at all. And you know the macho thing, even around a Ludo board or a domino table, they may talk, but sometimes they will use an imaginary friend to use it as an explanation when half of the time it's probably what they're going through. Or then they'll speak about their partner at home and they blame it on a culture. not realizing their partner is actually screaming just for a hug, for a touch. But let's look at it from the man's perspective. Because you would think sometimes that fathers or uncles would actually speak a little bit more. We're not putting the blame on a soul. We're just going to try to see it through their lens, right? So when their partners start changing emotionally, physically, sexually, men can often feel totally confused, rejected, unsure how to help. They even avoid saying the wrong thing, as we've alluded to earlier on, because they don't know what beast is going to come out, and therefore rendering them many times helpless. And because men are often taught to fix things, premenopause can feel like a problem they don't know even how to solve. Hence, they stop at a local watering hole, some of them, or they take to the Bible and say, God, Father, help me. Yes. So let's talk about some of the misunderstanding, because we understand, like the 88-year-old man who's still in his prime and galloping like a stallion. Ooh, kudos to him or her. When a woman libido drops, a man may think, is she not attracted to me anymore? I wonder if it's my bare belly. I wonder if it's the facial hair. I wonder if it's because I got grays and all that sort of stuff. Baby, we getting gray hairs in places that we never knew we could grow gray hair. I stick a pin. Let's keep focus on the man side. This is real talk. This is real talk. And you wonder why there goes gray. Senior citizen below. I digressed. Men may actually also think, when she's irritable, he may think, did I do something wrong? What the hell did I do now? Let me go outside and try to do this painting because she could soon get after me for that. When she's tired, he may think she's pulling away from him. When she cries easily, he may think, I don't know how to help. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. According to the North American Menopause Society, over 70% of women experience these changes in libido, mood, and energy during premenopause. And none of these changes are about their partner. And there's a reason why I'm giving you statistics from reliable sources, because this is not just Sabrina telling you. Studies have been done. And this is why I want you to know that it's coming from an educated perspective. I'm just delivering it to you in layman's terms, and can put my little speck on it as well, because I'm going through it at the tender age of 51, soon be 52. This is biology, my friends, not rejection. Yes. And when we look at all of this, we can have a little laugh with it as too, because like I said, down to white. And you're like, OMG, she said that? Yeah. Why are you ashamed? You think it's only your hairline? They got them too. It's all about life. That's normal. Yeah. Relationships educators also report that men often interpret premenopause symptoms as personal rejection of them, simply because they just don't understand the hormonal changes behind what their female partners are going through. And this, my friends, is a misunderstanding that can create unnecessary conflict. It can lead to divorce. It can lead to disruption in your families. But when the men really learn what's happening biologically to their female partners, they respond with empathy instead of defensiveness. And what we have found out, and studies can prove, that knowledge reduces this tension, and understanding definitely builds stronger connections and bonds. I know some of the things us women just want to take care of ourselves a little differently, and we want our privacy when we do that Sunday cleanup, or we make those very private appointments, and we come back and we're like the palm of my hands and all that sort of stuff. You know, that's all good. That's investing in you. And if that makes you feel good, go right ahead. But sometimes when you see them little gray ones, it's okay. They got them too. They have them too. And if some of you are feeling uncomfortable with the way I'm delivering, I'm sorry. I'm making no apologies, but I'm being as respectful as we can. And maybe just having this conversation may actually save your relationship, or hopefully it will open the door for you to have it in your own time and feel more confident about it. Because anyone knows me, they know I'm not ashamed to speak. And I'm not ashamed to share with you, which is why I have so many friends that will come, male and female, and they will just speak openly to me. And I am here non-judgmental. Because it's an honor for me to share my personal experiences if it helps you navigate your own. Most men are not uncaring. Most men are not dismissive. Most men are not uninterested. Most men simply don't know what's happening and they don't know honestly what to do. So they will say things like, but I don't know how. I don't want to make it worse. I don't want to say anything wrong because then who lashes out at me is not the person that I really just want to hug, that I really married, that I fell in love with, the one who's really doing so much for the house. But I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I feel like she shut me out. And that's real. That's valid. That's human. Welcome back, Michelle.
I say, don't laugh at me. Don't think that I'm cuckoo. But when you say about gray, it's not called graying. They say you're snowing below. It's snow. It's not gray.
Oh,
and then the snow cools, you know what? It's ice cool. So it's snowing. It's called snowing.
okay.
Not graying. You're gray on top, but you're snowing below.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. See, we learned. I don't like no snow. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
We learned.
Okay. Good. Oh, Lord. Melita says, just hold on to each other. You know who you got. You know who you got and not who you're going to get. Just go for a little drive if you can and give each other a break. Yeah, it's nice. Every now and again, that separation is good, but not for extracurricular activities. Yeah, Melita, Lord, Miss Shelma. Oh my gosh, Shelma is the best. She's the best. Miss Dorothy says, true love can play a vital part when each person wants the best for each other. So they won't be quick to wrongfully judge their partner. Yes, and it takes a lot of understanding. And I'm so happy for some of my listeners who are and have confirmed that they're listening with their partners this evening. And thank you, male counterparts, for doing your part in sharing this. But I want you to come back tomorrow because I want to do I want to do an expanded version of this show and put more attention on the men, because a lot of you are going through some changes. We as females didn't identify or can't identify it, just like how you can't identify it in us. I want to bring some things to your attention tomorrow. So I tell your friends to listen. But I feel that a lot of relationships will benefit if we have more conversations like this, because it's unfair that men feel pressure to be strong, steady, supportive, patient, and understanding. But they're human beings as well. And they get tired. The men get confused. They get very emotional as well. And they get scared of losing connection. They can see a lot of eye candy out there, but you think some of them foo-foo? You think they don't know what they have at home? I ain't gonna tell you I haven't undressed a few. I have undressed a few men in my day. Oh, not literally, in my mind. In my mind. Yeah, it is healthy. but I know what I got. I don't know what the heck I'm going to get. But our men go through that as well, where they're scared of losing the connection. And according to our relationship counselors, again, with my research, men often feel isolated during their partner's premenopause because they don't have anyone to talk about it. And that's not something you're going to want to blare out on a pool table or a domino table. No. That's where you're going to clear your head trying to understand the man. What's going on with your wife, your partner? Just like women feel alone, men often feels alone as well. And that's why conversation matters. And I don't shun away. The most friends that I have are men. I don't know why. And I prefer them, to be honest. I don't care if you accuse me being with this one, that one. I don't have to worry about that. I have a lot of male friends, and it will amaze you the conversations that we have. And as a female, we can talk, non-judgmental, and I get from them as well from the male's perspective. That's how we learn from each other. And men benefit from education just as much as women, but we have to create the space where they feel safe, that it's okay to speak about it, and they're not judged. We see where public health officials and educators say that when men receive the basic education about premenopause, relationship satisfaction increases for both partners. And the reason for that is because the understanding reduces the fear, it reduces the confusion, and it reduces the misunderstanding. And definitely, it reduces conflict. So education, the huge takeaway here, is just not for females, not just for women. It's for the entire household. Yes. And what I feel men need to know, and for every one of the men that are listening tonight, your partner is not angry at you. She's not rejecting you. She's not losing interest in you either. She's not becoming someone else. Her hormones are shifting. Her body is recalibrating, and her emotions are responding to that recalibration. Her energy as well is fluctuating, and we need your patience, your understanding, your presence, not perfection. That's all we're asking for. That's all. Because women with supportive partners, it's been proven, experience lower stress, fewer emotional symptoms, better sleep, stronger relationship satisfaction, and just overall well-being is significantly improved. And support is not just emotional or sexual, or it's biological. It's literally improves health outcomes. And when we say support, it doesn't mean jump on them and ride them like a stallion. Sometimes all you got to do is to just hold them. Put your foot over their foot. Because if one of them hot flashes come on, she could kick you away so far. Yet you got to understand it. You got to understand it. When men show up with presence and patience and empathy and truly is invested, women feel so much safer, calmer, and definitely more connected. Because what that support is and what that translates, it's really medicine. Melita say razors are cheap. You're more than welcome, Miss Dorothy. Damien, love energy, lack of motivation, and insomnia or sleep disturbances. Sometimes limited communication is best to avoid arguing. Some words are triggers. So I think about what I'm going to say or do right now. Yeah, you don't know. My men are going to be ballerinas, and like women, you're going to have to know how to read the room. Opposite sex friends are the best. It's true. Dorothy, I love men friends more. Oh, I love them to death. And I could sit like a sailor just like them. Remember, in my former life, I was surrounded by a lot of mail and enforcement of immigration and stuff. And even now in my former 4 years, that's why I got along so well in home affairs. It was male dominated, and wow. Kudos to my team there, to them. Melita says, we still want Anna. Just work with us, bobos. The thing is, Melita, it's funny that you say that. We need each other. Both genders need each other. So I just want my men to understand that. We just need your presence, your patience, deeply invested, because at the end of the day, you guys go through the very same thing. And if both of you all can understand it, you both can actually heal together as a team and journey through this biological and this chemical change in your body that is happening, whether or not you want. Yes. Menopause or premenopause, my friends, is not a her problem or a his problem. It's a relationship phase. And as Connie alluded to earlier on, we can call it a team challenge, a shared journey. Yeah. So when you look at it as even the whole couples part of things, like I said, this is a team effort. It's just not one person alone. Because both parties in the same house, and especially if you got children, much less a child with some special needs, we know what that can put, or you're having an older person living with you, an in-law or something, and you're going through all of these, your circumstances, that's when you need each other even more. And then you're dealing with this chemical imbalance and all of this biological instability. Women feels the physical and emotional changes. And the man feels the shifts in the connection. Sometimes their only language is intimacy. And that's a total turn off for a woman, because they'd be like, what the hell? You didn't see what I just went through? You didn't see I just finished cleaning or this or cooking dinner and I had a rough day at work? And you end up arguing when that's his love language to you and that's your love language to him. And you guys have created this environment that you're all speaking the right things, but you're not connecting it to the issue. We're treating the symptoms and not getting down to the problem. And what we find, both people experience the ripple effects, and both people feel the tension, and both parties feel the confusion as well. And then the distance when the communication breaks down. And what we're seeing in couples, especially, both of you deserves an understanding. Because relationship stresses all usually peaks during this phase of our lives, the premenopause stages. Not because love is gone, but because the communication, the information is missing. And couples who do not talk about what's happening often misinterpret each other's behaviors. She old. Oh, him, he's sickening. And both of you are going through the same darn chemical, biological changes. But what we see is where couples who communicate openly in their home, you don't have to choose the Sabrina Speaks platform. When you communicate openly at home, what we have found, studies say that the relationship satisfaction goes through the roof positively. Yes, because that open communication is the very bridge that keeps you all together. And let's talk about communication, real communication, not the, are you okay? I'm fine kind of communication. I mean, honest conversations, the vulnerable ones, the communication that truly goes into the core of exactly what you're feeling, and you don't even know how to explain it type of conversations. And it's okay if when you're trying to explain it, you break down in tears. It's okay. Both men and women, couples, need space to express what's really happening inside them and within their bodies. And men need the clarity so that they don't feel shut out or even blamed. And this is why we're putting the focus now on the couples, partners, living, coexisting in the same square footage. Both partners need to feel safe, not exposed, not ashamed, not scared that they're being seen by each other less. When we speak openly, we find reduced in misunderstandings, resentment, emotional distance. How many of us are together living in the same square footage and you're passing like two ships in the night? You're emotionally severed, sexual tensions, but yet both of you are crying for simple attention and affection. And sometimes all it takes is a simple stroke on the arm or an embrace when you round that kitchen sink. That's all it takes. Now, mind you, you got some of my people. You come around them while they're around that sink. What you want to know? Yeah. Maybe after this episode, and I'm warning my men and my females, if randomly your partner does something like that, maybe they were paying attention to this episode of Sabrina Speaks. It only takes a spark to get a fire going. And we may be all one of them old Buicks that you crank us up, and when you get us going, you got to catch us good, catch us when it's going. But what I'm saying is, guys, if you can relate to what I'm saying right now, because it's been so long that being spontaneous and showing affection, showing love is so long ago. And we know Valentine's just gone. You know what that does to a relationship? That does wonders. Yeah. Because when we do these things, we increase trust, intimacy improves, emotionally safetyness comes back, teamwork and connection. And what I feel, taking it from the female perspective, what women really needs to hear from their partner and see as well, we often find ourselves where we need patience from our partners, from our men, a little bit more understanding, reassurance that I got you, to feel I'm good. If anything happens, boy, I'm good. He's going to take good care of me. Emotional safety, but yeah. Space without that abandonment, and support without pressure or constant reminder. We need a man's presence without judgment. And as a woman, we need to know that we're still loved unconditionally, truly, that we're still desired, that we're still valued, that you still see us. Because Premenopause can make women question all of these things. And now let me flip it. What men need to hear from us women, I'm going there. Men often need clarity, honesty, guidance, reassurance, appreciation. When was the last time you really looked at your partner and says, thank you for taking out the garbage? Or, hey, you sent the guy to wash the car today. That was so thoughtful. Thank you so much. Or maybe they were going in the kitchen for something and they just turned around and asked you, you need anything? And if you even take up the request, if you're not dropped over with shock, you went and you thought about me, don't even show it if it went through your mind. For God's sake, don't even show it. But when they do honor your request and they come out and said, hey, thank you. That was cool. I appreciate you. Yeah. Men often need to know a way to help. Yeah. We, as women, we kind of cold too, still. Every now and again, you just look at them, even if you chuckle, just look in their eyes straight. It says, oh, your head big, but I love you, However you break the ice, there's a reason why I'm taking this approach, because for some of you, this is not normal. You haven't done this in a while. And I know I'm going over, but it's that important. Men need to know that they're not the problem, that they're not being pushed away, and that they're not losing their partner, that they're not failing. Men need to feel included and not shut out. And what we're seeing here is that this will result in less conflict, more empathy, better communication, stronger emotional bonds, higher relationship satisfaction, and learning together creates unity. Unity creates safety, and safety creates connection. Maybe many of the divorces outside for adultery and abuse, mental, physical, maybe some of the disconnections that we're having right now is some of the things that we've highlighted here. Yes. And because we're over 7 o'clock, and I want to go into the part with men, intimacy during this premenopause, I want to get into that. Because this is one of the biggest areas where couples struggle. And we're talking how it impacts our libido, comfort, energy, confidence, and just emotional closeness. So I'm going to stick a pin right there, because tomorrow we're going to cover this. I want to thank you all for your participation. I want to thank you all for your engagement. And for all of those couples who sat with their partners this evening and shared this episode, I applaud you. I applaud you for investing that time. That's a step in the right direction this evening. But tomorrow, we're going to put the spotlight on intimacy during menopause, and we're going to do and go a little deeper into the male perspective as to how their bodies change, and seeing it more from the male's perspective based on what research that I can put my hands on to make the information so that we continue to learn digestible as we continue to understand each other for one thing in success, that we both satisfy ourselves as individuals if we're living together with a partner and as a family. But I want to thank you all so much for joining me this evening for this episode of Sabrina Speaks. And I promise you we'll continue tomorrow. And we'll start the topic tomorrow evening with intimacy during premenopause. And we'll look and go a little deeper into what information I can find when it relates to the male version of menopause as well. It has been my pleasure. Again, thank you for joining me. Connie, thank you for sharing your beautiful flower of the day. I look forward to one tomorrow, and I'll share my peace lily with you as well. But until tomorrow, please do have a safe evening. To all of our men and women in the uniform service, frontline staff, thank you for your service. Good night. God bless. Love you lots. See you tomorrow.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.